Now we get into some war and we see how God moves and delivers Keilah, the town of Keilah, and David in this country. Let's get right through this video. First, listen to this intro. When God gives you that peace, you will rest in his security, his protection, his comfort, his love. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Now, today we're going to be talking about how David rescued the town of Keilah, how he did it. And now we start looking at the move of God. Now we start getting into war and we start to see how God moves, how he works, how he's starting to help deliver his people and deliver David, even as he is sought out by King Saul. We're going to start with 1 Samuel chapter 23, and we're going to read this whole chapter and we're going to bang it out. Without further ado, let's get right into this video. Verse 1. One day news came to David that the Philistines were at Keilah stealing grain from the threshing floors. David asked the Lord, "Should I go and attack them?" "Yes, go and save Keilah," the Lord told him. But David's men said, "We're afraid even here in Judea. We certainly don't want to go to Keilah to fight the whole Philistine army." So David asked the Lord again. And again, the Lord replied, "Go down to Keilah, for I will help you conquer the Philistines." So David and his men went to Keilah. They slaughtered the Philistines and took all of their livestock and rescued the people of Keilah. And now when Abiathar, the son of Elimelech, fled to David and Keilah, he brought the ephod with him. Saul soon learned that David was at Keilah. "Good," he exclaimed. We've got him now. God has handed him over to me, for he has trapped himself in a walled town." So Saul mobilized his entire army to march to Keilah and besiege David and his men. But David learned of Saul's plan and told Abiathar, the priest, to bring the ephod and ask the Lord what he should do. Boy, he got God working with him. He got a priest there to throw it up for him. He's already, as you can see, he's starting to operate as a king, as an anointed king. Then David prayed, "O Lord God of Israel, I have heard that Saul is planning to come and destroy Keilah because I am here. Will the leader of the Keilah betray me to him? And will Saul actually come as I have heard? O Lord God of Israel, please tell me." And the Lord said, "He will come." Again, David asked, "Will the leaders of Keilah betray me and my men to Saul?" And the Lord replied, "Yes, they will betray you." David hides in the wilderness. So David and his men, about 600 of them, now left Keilah and began roaming the countryside. Word soon reached Saul that David had escaped, so he didn't go to Keilah after all. David now stayed in the stronghold of the wilderness and in the hill country of Zeph. Saul hunted him day after day, but God didn't let Saul find him. One day near Arush, David received the news that Saul was on the way to Zeph to search for him and kill him. Jonathan went to find David and encourage him to stay strong in his faith in God. "Don't be afraid," Jonathan reassured him. My father will never find you. You are going to be king of Israel, and I will be next to you, as my father Saul is well aware. So the two of them renewed their solemn pact before the Lord. Then Jonathan returned home while David stayed in Horesh. But now the men of Zeph went to Saul in Gibeah and betrayed David to him. "We know where David is hiding," they said. "He is in the strongholds of Arush, in the hills of Achalah, which is in the southern part of Jeshimon. Come down whenever you are ready, O king, and we will catch him and hand him over to you." "The Lord bless you," Saul said. "At last someone is concerned about me. Go and check again to be assured where he is staying, who has him there, for I know that he is very crafty. Discover his hiding places and come back when you are sure. Then I will go with you, and if he is in the area at all, I will track him down, even if I have to search every hiding place in Judea." So the men of Zeph returned home ahead of Saul. Meanwhile, David and his men had moved into the wilderness of Maon in the Arabah Valley south of Jeshimon. When David heard that Saul and his men were searching for him, he went even further into the wilderness to Great Rock. He had remained there in the wilderness in Moab, but Saul kept after him in the wilderness. Saul and David were now on the opposite sides of a mountain. Just as Saul and his men began to close in on David and his men, an urgent message reached Saul that the Philistines was raiding Israel again. Verse 28, so Saul quit chasing David and returned to fight the Philistines. Ever since that time, the place where David was camped has been called the Rock of Escape. David then went to live in the stronghold of En Gedi.